What's going on, everybody? Welcome to your daily astrology horoscope for Thursday, May 4th, 2023. Astrologer Brian Scarborough here, Fixed Air Moon, keeping the collective fixed on astrology. Hope everybody's doing outstanding. May the 4th be with you all as we're really going to start to feel this lunar eclipse energy today, because that moon's going to enter Scorpio this morning, and yeah, it's going to square Pluto right when it does. Before it does get there early in the morning, we're going to see the moon opposite Jupiter in Aries, definitely amplifying, I think, our own desires, our own directions, our own beliefs, and how they're getting that transformation with even Pluto and Jupiter in their square currently that's building up as well. So there's definitely a lot of alignment coming through, I think a redirection in some sort of our own beliefs, our own paths. Everything's kind of having to be related and communicated, and it's Mercury retrograde, so we're definitely going deeper into our own, psyches, our own mentality, and trying to figure a lot of things out right now. But it's a confusing time. The intensity is all ramped up. That moon comes into fall position in Scorpio, and it does make that nice square to Pluto, now retrograde, where Pluto disposits this lunar eclipse. So I don't know any better way to say it, but this is where we're going to have to go through a transformation, right? This is kind of one that the universe is saying you got to release something. You can't, it's probably going to be the thing we're most obsessed with, that we don't want to let go of, that we couldn't possibly think we could ever live without this energy of something in our life, that we're getting a complete value redirect, even with the sun getting closer and closer to its Uranus conjunction, so everything's going to be pretty intense. Emotions are going to be very felt. You're going to start to see and feel lunar eclipse energy today. That will happen tomorrow morning on the West Coast at around 10:30 a.m., about 1:30 on the East Coast in the afternoon tomorrow. But it's all ramping up today and tonight. By tomorrow, there it is. There it goes. This is an interesting eclipse for people in the northern hemisphere, especially like the States, because we have seen so many lunar eclipses the past few years. They've been visible for us. So it is switching gears a little bit, having this one not visible, and I think it adds a little bit of a eeriness to it. And already having, an eclipse in Scorpio, where it is eerie, because it deals with the death and renewal energy that we all transform through. It always feels like something has to die, a part of us has to die, even an ego, right, the ego death. Always so that we can transform and transmute and alchemize into something more, and we're starting to feel that. Today's definitely the day, so may the 4th be with you all. I think we're all trying to deeply understand our feelings. We're going to have to go through that, go through the depth of feeling, go through what emotions are bringing what into your life. What are we obsessive over? Where are we overly passionate in certain areas too? And is it that part of life that needs that misdirection, or it is the misdirection that we're on and we're getting redirected? So a lot of this is a redirection energy, trying to shake things up, help us find more of a capacity here. We're also seeing Venus square Neptune today too, which, to have the South Node disposited by Pluto, squaring Jupiter, and just a lunar eclipse in Scorpio, and then to have the ruler of the North Node, Venus, square Neptune, this is either a beautiful dream or a nightmare in many ways. It's hard to understand, even with Venus in Gemini right now, and then kind of bring the fact and the clarity to what is that next step of value. But I think that you can kind of feel it. It's the feeling. It's going to be a redirection. It is the release, and anything that you can, I think even with Pluto and Aquarius, be objective and non-attached. You're going to get through this energy way better, no matter how it manifests in our lives, especially even over the course of, the rest of the month here of May. Eclipse energy lingers, especially the solar eclipse, in my opinion, but my advice is this is a great test in our lives to see if we can alchemize and to not be so attached, because the attachment is going to be a black hole with the South Node. here in Scorpio, and the moon even meeting with that south node. So we're all getting tested, I think, in just our ability to let go of some kind of a deep situation. I mean, this could be anything from relationships to things we're trying to create, aspects we value, maybe even, you know, limiting self-beliefs, as Jupiter's squaring Pluto too. So I'll be honest, anything you can be non-attached to will help everybody through this process, no matter what it, you know, I mean, for some it can be small, for some it can be big moments. Definitely depends. Nothing's, you know, one size fits all, but the intensity of energy is definitely there, and there can almost be a numbing effect to where with Venus, the ruler of the North Node, squaring Neptune, you know, we can really over idealize or fantasize that we're doing something or we're in a situation that is good for us. And there's going to be situation after situation that's going to start rearing its head up to provide the truth and to really bring an enlightening effect when all is said and done into our lives, so that we're able to see the deeper meaning of any situation, and that it always has a, there's always a positive, I believe, even to Scorpio. Of course, it's passion, it's, you know, emotional commitment. So I love Scorpio energy. I'm Pluto, Mars, 8th house. Like I'm all about, trust me, I'm all about 8th house energy. It's probably why I fell in love with astrology to begin with, to be honest with you. But sometimes it's the deeper things that send us into these rabbit holes, whether it is a love relationship or even a quest for knowledge in many ways, that we spiral. You know, we get too lost, we go too far down the rabbit hole. And this is even a time to peel back, you know. Look at everything, like the focal point to me is going to be this Taurus energy with Mercury retrograde, the Sun, the North Node, Sun Uranus, is we're really having to look at the unique values in life that we do have and realize that there's more and we can always acquire more. And it's about the special little things that you do have in your life, and where one situation can be completely falling off the map or blowing up in our face, there's so many beautiful things also present in our reality right in front of our face. And like we just can't forget those things. Those are like the special moments right now. And gosh, with Venus square Neptune, like we can forget about the special tangible things that we do have in our life and get lost in gosh, I mean, just so much of the depth of everything else, or the depth of feeling or passion in our life, or maybe the lack of passion, or maybe, you know, too much, and it's like getting whoa, this is too much for me, you know. So we're all having to navigate this scorpionic energy in our own way, but it's bringing a very potent check, and hopefully we're able to see clearly. This is a test of your own discernment, your clarity of what your value is, and to not be swayed, to not be swindled, to not be manipulated, to even not manipulate ourselves, you know, or sway or swindle or play the trickster in our own lives, because we can do that to ourselves just as well as anybody else can. So the clarity is in the reality and the tangible, and we can go into all sorts of fantasies or make things up, or, you know, think we know all these scorpionic traits in another person, like we're so psychically attuned that we just know exactly what someone's thinking and what they're doing and what their intentions are. And truth be told, that'll get us, you know, that'll put us in a check. You know, we'll get checked. In my opinion, with this astrology, we'll get checked doing that. So this is a good time to ask questions. There's deeper meanings to everything, but don't lose yourself in that rabbit hole. Stop yourself at a moment where you feel good, like, you know, or go into the rabbit hole of Taurus, of like really nurturing, you know, yourself to a place where you feel all encompassed with self-love, confidence, inner power and expansion with Jupiter and Aries, even square Pluto. You know, we're all getting that check right now. It's potent times. And remember, Saturn in Pisces it's dissolving a lot of structure that we formed in our own lives, a lot of rules, a lot of commitments. It's going over, you know, kind of checking our karma over the past 28 and a half years, and really 30 years. it's making sure that we're on the right path here, and it's going to keep throwing the trash in our face in some ways too, so that we can consciously understand things that our subconscious knows, but that we don't want to understand or see because it's almost too true. So the value is in the truth and the clarity of any situation. Make sure you have that clarity. You know, if you're going to make any big moves right now, this could be a time where people are almost maybe even itching to destroy something, you know, and it very well may need to be destroyed. It's an interesting energy that's going to start forcing intensity because people are in many ways taking trash out, you know, getting things into a beautiful state, getting things into that aligned and self-empowering stage so that they can feel like they're growing and thriving, because everybody's kind of looking for safety and this ability to grow and thrive right now. And it's there, but it's in the weirdness, it's in the uniqueness. Uranus is trying to show us that there's better ways to do pretty much everything that could be of value and find safety in our life right now. But what are we too attached to that we don't want to let go of? I feel like these are going to be things that are going to rear their ugly face up in our lives for, you know, at least, at minimum, you know, until the new moon in Taurus. Because remember, we're still in Aries lunation and an Aries solar eclipse energy too. Even though the sun's at 14 degrees of Taurus today, it hasn't even had a new moon. So that, you know, that full Taurian Venusian energy isn't even fully in activation until the very end. So it's kind of a bummer, but much of this is the, you know, the forged in fire aspect, and we're really having to identify with these deeper parts of ourselves and come to the clarity and the consciousness and the truth. And the truth kind of is an interesting one right now. So interesting, and I only say interesting because it really is like based on your subjective opinion of truth. Venus is the dispositor of the North Node, dispositor of the Sun, Uranus, Mercury retrograde, it's in Gemini. Mercury and Venus are sharing mutual reception. It is so important that you understand your values right now, and that it's not this bigger thing or what everybody else is doing. That's the weird position. And even with the South Node, you know, both the dispositors, Pluto is in Aquarius retrograde and Mars is in fall position in Cancer. And Venus is square Neptune for this. So it's not like the easiest of energies. I'll be completely honest with you. It's very emotional, but it needs to figure out how to get out of that and to not be overly sensitive to the truth of what you're actually feeling, and to actually adapt and to really shift that passionate energy into whatever the truth is that many won't want to pay any attention to. And we'll just let it, you know, keep going until it's almost like the universal force, you know, some kind of cataclysm, you know, into our lives. That's how Scorpio works. If we don't eventually see the deeper, you know, black and white, this is what's up, you know, what's going on and what the feeling is, then cataclysm is very 8th house, you know, it's like a volcano bursting. Eventually it just can't hold back the magma anymore. So in many of our lives, we're going to have to, in some ways, go through that experience. And today is, you know, May the 4th be with you, because it's all starting to, everything, that magma's getting hot, it's roaring, that moon's almost all day today going through the Via Combusto, the part of the zodiac that is 20, some people say 20 Libra to 10 Scorpio, some people say 25 Libra to 5 Scorpio. It doesn't really matter. It's the fiery way, the Via Combusto. So we're all having to go through our own fiery way, our own fiery path right now, to find the truth, to see the truth, to not be persuaded and duped, but to really look into our own lives and what's going on and come to the conclusion of how to better it and to not stay in something. It's almost like sadomasochistic relationship to something in life. We think something is giving us so much more, but it's really just abusing us. And in many ways we do this to ourselves, but this could very well be also in relation to people, because Scorpio does deal with the merging and the connection with other people as well. So, may the 4th be with you all. Can be a great day. It's intense astrology, like, I'll be honest, it is. But that doesn't mean that people can't have good days, that people can't thrive, that people can't laugh. You know, there's a seriousness to the astrology, but it's just paying attention to your life, and sometimes it's the little things that make the biggest, you know, repercussion too. So it's not like everything has to be so dramatic all the time too, in my opinion. Remember, depending on how old you are, you know, we go through multiple eclipses every year, 4 or 5, you know, every blue moon or whatever we get 6, but it's not like a new thing, and I don't want people to start freaking out, you know. This can, you know, with Venus and Neptune squaring, or Venus and Gemini squaring Neptune in Pisces, like, this could bring on neuroticism and, you know, anxieties over safety and security, which is what we're really looking for, is that self, you know, capacity and ability to be a master builder in our lives and for our lives. And it's just where we've overcommitted emotionally to something that has, you know, almost nothing to do with us in many ways, or what we're doing, or, you know, our unique path that we're getting a check on. So it's very intense in that aspect, but look, just pay attention to the little stuff. I think that's the trick to all this. The little things have the most truth right now, and we can spiral things into the biggest thing ever, but, like, look, if we're not asking the question, or, you know, getting the truth, like, presented to us, like, don't go making stuff up either. This is what, like, people are going to start making crazy stories up because of this energy, and they're going to start, and that's the thing, is it could be their subjective truth too. So we don't, you know, be aware, like, there could be a lot of gaslighting going on at the same time. Alright, that's my PSA. Let's see what the tarots are. And I will do, of course, an eclipse horoscope for Friday, but I feel like today's, like, where it's real. It's intense with where the moon's at, and just where everything's set up. Today's, like, just as intense and as important as tomorrow. So that's why I'm, like, hitting on that. Hierophant reversed. Yeah, I think we're all kind of trying to figure out what that, you know, dedicated physical practice, how to stay persistent for something that's almost pure and holy to ourselves, and to stay on track. And we got to pay attention to where we're swaying from that, and you know, not putting enough effort into what really matters, because you know, we can wander into so many other rabbit holes. Like, this is a full moon and a lunar eclipse where we actually want to be like a little skeptical of, like, how deep the rabbit holes go. Like, Scorpio, that rabbit hole is infinite. It's a deep one, and there is so much beautiful truth hidden in that hole. Just be careful about where you go. That's all I'm saying. It's like, the more you can kind of just, these next couple days, be present and not go so deep down there, you'll do and probably feel better, in my opinion, and it'll get you back on the right path. The boat. High Priestess reversed. Like I was saying, like, don't go. The stories that, like, people's intuitions are going to be making up are going to be wild. Like, don't just trust any psychic. Don't just trust any this. Like, you got to get back in tune with everything that's going on just with you, And if your intuition starts telling you something about another person or something, like, be leery of it. Or if somebody else is telling you about it, be leery of it. Like, you got to figure this is like really come back to your body and check yourself. Because we can get, we could be all over the place today. And I feel like we need to be careful in that situation. And the Page of Wands in reverse. That's like not being a little kid right now, not being like so naive either. Like there's a little bit of a seriousness. And I think being able to be like mutable and adaptable is a good thing. But like not in like a childlike way. Like this is like a very spiritually mature energy that if you're in a very like spiritually and heart-centered mature place, I think people are going to thrive through this energy and the transformations will be so potent for them. But I feel like if we're going to be like a little kid who just got, you know, a tarot deck and, you know, or watched their first tarot reading and they're all like thinking that, oh, my twin flame, like, I'm sorry, like, we got to kind of like, I'll be honest, like, that's the channel here to me, is like, we got to grow up into our intuitive gifts, into a lot of our uniqueness and our specialness. And there's a depth to us that we lack the understanding of because we're so attached to, I mean, just the twin flame term itself is a good one. And like, it's not that I don't think that energy doesn't exist, but like the title of it and the attachment to like my twin flame, like I'm just using this as an example, like we got to be more spiritually mature than that obsession or want, because that's where this energy will take you. Like it'll beat people up. So I love you all very much. I hope you have a great Thursday, and I'll see you all for the actual eclipse horoscope tomorrow. And you know, it's going to be kind of the same theme, so here's your warning. You guys will do good. I know you will. I have faith. I appreciate you all. Have a lovely Thursday. Much love. Peace.